and welcome to Crash Media Paranormal. How are you, Miss Ash from Crash?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Very, very good. Tell us what we have in store for us today.
We have something really exciting. So, we have a lot of never before seen footage from investigations that we've been on.
Nice. And we start right now. And we are back. So today we are delving into the vault of some past investigations.
Yeah. And, we film a lot of the way we do our investigations now is we, film them for our YouTube. But before we started this, we didn't go on investigations with intentions of like filming and everything. So we have footage from there, but it's more just footage from like investigating, so
Right.
it's
Handy
not,
cams and
yeah, and it hasn't been put into an episode yet.
right.
So we're excited to be able to share some of those things from, past investigations that people haven't seen before.
Right. And last week we did a show about our Pickens County Courthouse episode, and we had talked about some SLS evidence that we had gotten. So that is going to be part of our show tonight. So we're going to be able
Mhm.
to, revisit the SLS camera and see some really
Yeah.
cool stuff. So tell us a little bit about Sweet Springs. That's one of
Okay.
our
So
or not episodes, but that's one of our favorite places that we've been to that we did get some evidences from.
yeah. So Sweet Springs Sanitarium, it is located in West Virginia. And we went there probably, I think it was like 2019.
Right.
And again, we weren't filming for a YouTube episode, so but we did have things that we experienced and captured there that we wanted to share with everyone. So we dug through our vault and we found something really cool. Now, just a little bit about this location. Well, first of all, we went in November,
Oh yeah.
and it was it was really cold, and I think the night that we investigated there it was 17 degrees, 18 degrees, something like that.
Yeah,
So
it
it was
was
cold.
ridiculous.
Yeah. But we were the second team to ever investigate there.
Right.
And so that's really cool when you get
Hmm.
to be one of the first few people who get to investigate a location. Um, but I will say, overall, it was kind of a quiet night.
Yeah.
Anytime you're at a place like that, it's super creepy and it's just really cool to explore. But we didn't have a whole lot of consistent activity. But we had a few things that happened that night, and I remember um, listening back like through my audio and everything after that investigation. I didn't capture any EVPs. I don't think anyone from our group really did.
No.
However, there was a moment that I was doing a solo session on the third floor. So I was walking to my spot. So I had just gone up to the third floor, trying to get to a certain room. And I'm walking along the hallway, and I have my recorder, and I have actually I don't think I had my recorder rolling at the time. I had a flashlight and my handy cam
Hmm.
because it's pitch black in there, and we use red flashlights. So in the video we show, you're going to see like a red light. We use a red flashlight because it doesn't interfere with like any of our other equipment set up, like the infrared lights and stuff like that. So it
And
in
it
a place
doesn't
like
affect
that,
our night vision as well.
yeah, yeah, your eyes don't have to like have a hard time like adjusting. So you'll see me holding like the red flashlight in the camera. We're going up there and holding just a little handy cam. I'm walking down the hall. I hear a noise that kind of comes, like a knock from one of the rooms that I'm passing by. You'll see me in the video turn, and just to kind of look real quick. I kind of back up for a second and I look in the room. I look behind me, turn back to the room. I didn't see anything at the time. And so I waited a second and then I just, went back along my way because I thought that it's just a random, just a, random sound happening. I
Right.
didn't think much of it. But when I watched back on the video, even though I didn't see anything in person, when I watched back on the video, I noticed something, which is really cool because I also heard something and then in the video something shows up. So, it, the flashlight when you see the video, it's going to play it in real speed, like real time
Mhm.
speed first, and then it's going to slow it down. There is a shadow that is behind the door. Now that the big dark shadow, that is the door. My flashlight is, creating a shadow with the door.
Mhm.
But what I want you to look is in that dark shadow past the door. You'll see kind of like a light object, almost reflective. I can't tell what it is, but it comes from behind the door. But what's really interesting is there's a black mass that's even darker than the shadow that comes out, like looks around and then pops back in. And again, I didn't see it at the time, but my camera captured it. So I want you to watch this video and then we'll talk about it.
All right, let's take a look.
I was walking through the third floor to do a solo session. When I passed by one of the empty rooms, I heard a knock, so I took a few steps back to look in the room. I've outlined the dark figure so that you can see the shape as it steps out. To me, it looks as if there's a head and a shoulder, as if someone was peeking out before disappearing behind the door again.
All right, that was pretty cool. That was
Mhm.
pretty cool because you didn't see that at that time. You just saw it
Yeah,
after you started reviewing your evidence. That's
yeah.
really cool. That's a good capture.
And before we discuss the video, I want to say Jeremy's in the chat and says hello. So
Hey,
hello.
Jeremy. Hope everything's going all right.
Yeah. But yeah, so what's interesting about that video is, I did hear something, is that's what kind of stopped me in my
Yeah,
tracks.
that
I backed
loud
up a
pop.
little.
That yeah,
Yeah. I turned, didn't see anything at the time. When I was watching back through that video, I guess what caught my eye first was like that light object that kind
mhm,
of comes around. There's nothing behind that door. There's not even a closet on that particular wall. Um, and so like all of those rooms were kind of like set up the same. And so the walls were actually on that. I mean, the closets were actually on the other side.
right,
There's nothing behind that. And so I can't figure out like what is, and I analyzed it frame by frame.
right.
And I can't tell what that light object is, but then that darker object that kind of like peeks out. Could it be shadow play? I don't know. But to me, it it's interesting, especially going with the knock that happened
Right. Yeah.
before.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a that's pretty good. Now, the other interesting thing about this investigation, it was a 2-night investigation. So
Mhm.
the first night we were at Sweet Springs, and then the next night we went to Lake Shawnee, the abandoned amusement park, which was flippin' awesome. That's us at Lake Shawnee.
Yep. That was another very, very cold night.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy cold.
Yes. And yeah, that's a really cool place too because, just um the overgrown amusement park
Hmm.
ride. and it just being like engulfed with like nature. It's very ominous. That it was such a cool place. Um, Again, that night was not particularly active. We didn't have a whole lot of like experiences or like, walk away with a ton of evidence. One, that could be that it was so cold, we were focusing on not freezing to death.
Exactly.
Also, with this location, it's an outside location, so you have a lot of contaminants. So it's hard to actually walk away with good EVPs from there. But it was a really cool place, a lot of history. Same as Sweet Springs, a lot of history. Um, Both super creepy
hmm
locations. Really cool experience to get to go and be a part of those.
And just to throw in, we also got to do a few experiments, in between warm up sessions or warming up sessions. One of the things we tried is because there's so many reports of people drowning in the lake that was a swimming spot for the amusement park. We put a underground microphone or a underwater microphone and monitored that all night. And unfortunately, we got a lot of really cool stuff, but nothing that we could, say is, hey, that's a voice or that's a whisper or that's, someone. But it was
Mhm.
really cool. But when you talk about cold, it was cold.
Yep. I'm gonna tell you, I've never been that cold in my life. I it took me weeks to actually warm up. I think my bones froze. It was so cold and I got so sick.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think all of it. I think I did too. It was
Yeah.
it was terrible.
Getting warm in the car.
It was absolutely terrible. Here is a little video just showing a little bit of how cold it was.
We're getting warm in the car.
It's cold.
It's 31 degrees, but it feels a lot colder.
Well, I don't think that's accurate. I think it's well
Yeah.
below 31 degrees. That's just what the truck says. No, it's cold. It's cold.
The ground is frozen, so when we were standing there, like, it freezes your feet too. We did see some shooting stars, or I did.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Did you see them?
Yeah, I didn't get to see them, but the stars are like beautiful out here.
Yeah.
Suffice it to say, we were cold.
We had to get in the car just to warm up a little bit. And I think in that video we'd said it was like 31 degrees outside. No, that
No,
night it
it
was
was
21
in the
degrees.
21 degrees. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I remember at one point I had a like Diet Coke or something in a bottle, and just walking across the parking lot, it froze solid. It was just like,
Yeah,
okay, it was ice.
Your eyelashes would freeze.
Oh
You have
yeah.
like frost on your eyelashes. And then we had a propane tank trying to like, keep warm.
Right.
It started to freeze.
I remember that. The propane tank was freezing.
Yes.
It was crazy. Now
Yeah.
during that time, you did get a very, very, very good scare.
Yeah. Yeah. This is probably one of my scariest moments that's happened to me so far, ghost
Yeah.
hunting.
Could it have been paranormal? Who
I'll let
knows?
y'all
We'll
be the
let
judge.
we'll let the audience decide for that.
Yeah.
All right, you want to take a look? Let's do it.
I guess. Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
Jonathan!
Let me explain a couple of things real quick. So first of all, okay, this was right after Halloween. We went in
Mhm.
November, and so they had they do this like haunted house attraction thing, and so they still had all of those decorations up, and they had that haunted house maze. So we were like, let's go investigate the maze.
As one
Okay.
does.
Yes. First of all, it's pitch black. All I can see, and I didn't even have a flashlight. All I could see is the LED screen on my handy cam, and it's night vision. So all I can see is that little bitty, frame right there and whatever my camera's pointing at. Also, because it was so cold, I was bundled up. I had earmuffs like up under here. I had my hat on, my hood. So I couldn't hear Jonathan approaching. I couldn't hear anything. And so all of a sudden, I have that scary zombie head that pops up in view of my camera, and I fall back and knock over the wall.
And I'm in front of both of y'all, so all I hear is a scream, and then you're coming through the wall beside me. I'm like, "What? Are you okay?" I didn't know what was going on. I had no clue what was going on. But
Yeah, so he got me pretty good. Yeah.
Now we did end up getting him back, and I
Mhm.
would love to have footage of that. But Hell's Bar Dam, we got him
Mhm.
back really, really, really well. So
But
that's
we didn't have the camera roll and get that
oh, we
footage,
should have.
so we we got him.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah. That was a fun night though. I lost my voice completely. And so trying to do EVP sessions, like listening back, you'll hear like I think it was me, you, and Jonathan doing an EVP session. So on my recorder, I'd hear you two asking a question. Then it was my turn to ask a question. I had no voice, and so it sounds like a demon talking. I'm like, okay, I just
Do
gotta.
you know you're dead?
I'm like ruining these EVP sessions, so I've got to just. Yeah.
But we were able to debunk a couple of things while we were there because we had a couple of submissions from other groups, or some things that we were looking at from not necessarily other groups, but just other investigations in general. And with it being that cold, we got to really experience some, like take a look at this picture. What do you see when you see that picture?
Mhm.
Now, we have been told, oh, you've got like a light streak, you've got, something came into frame, and then you've got this wonderful mist, this spirit mist, and it looks like it's got hands and it's covering its face. But what is that actually? Ashley?
So so this is one that I took trying to recreate the ones that we had seen from like submissions or like and stuff of people saying, this is paranormal. So this is photos like this are easily debunkable, and it's I know we harp on this, but it's always important to investigate, try to debunk something before you say it's paranormal. If you, because like this was our breath. Because
Hmm.
one thing, it was so cold. And so just speaking, you have your breath, make, the steam. And this was just a cell phone picture with the flash on, just talking, and it creates that mist, and the flash makes it look, glowing. And
Hmm.
so, people can do this with like cigarette smoke,
Oh yeah.
vaping,
Mm.
so any
Mhm.
kind of like missed photos like this, just before you say, oh, there's some kind of manifestation on my picture, just try to look at it objectively and make sure that it's not just your breath.
Right,
um,
exactly. And we
yeah,
have
and
another example of that right here,
yeah,
which is
and
this,
again, that's
that.
just my breath. That's
Yeah, that's
just
just breath. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
And so, but we saw a lot of pictures like this. I've seen pictures like this from many locations, but we did this here specifically because there were photos that were claimed to be paranormal, just like this, from this particular location. And thankfully, it was cold enough that night that we were able to just easily recreate that.
Yeah, very, like you said, very easily debunkable. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I think we've all in the paranormal field have seen pictures like that. That
Mhm.
unfortunately, and it may be presented with good faith. Like we really believe that this is an entity that we've captured, but the rest of the community looks at it and says, "Yeah, we get those all the time, and it's pretty much breath." It was 21 degrees and it was humid,
Yeah.
so it was
Well, and also,
misty and just a
yeah.
miserable night. So that was easy.
And even in a picture like that, it pareidolia can
Oh
go into
yeah,
play. You might look at that and be like, "Oh, I see a face in that. Oh,
right,
it might be smoke, but I see a face."
right.
And your brain's going to automatically try to make sense of any kind of blobs and everything. And so it's pareidolia.
Right. And in
Which is
this one over in the corner, I see two hands reaching out with a face in the middle, so and that's totally pareidolia,
yeah.
100%.
Hmm.
But it is pretty cool, easily debunkable, but fun to debunk things like that.
Yeah.
The next place we're going to go is one of our favorite spots in the entire world, and that is Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. We're going back well, this was before our episode.
Yeah.
When was this, Ashley? This was
2020, I believe.
yeah, 2020, 2021. I think
This was
2020.
I think this was my first time going, and we went at the end of 2020 when everything kind of like opened back up.
Right.
And yeah, so this is not from the time that we filmed an episode there. This is
Right.
from when we were not filming yet. And so, but we would still film our investigations just for the sake of like finding, or catching activity.
Mhm.
But we would use like handy cams or our DVR system. And so the footage itself that we're going to show is not like great. We just had like the handy cam sitting over to the side to document this, since we weren't filming with intentions of putting it in an episode. But we were doing a role play session.
Mhm.
And so last week we were talking about this particular clip. And so I'm so excited I still had this clip.
Yeah,
but
I am too.
yeah, this was a role play session.
Mhm.
We've talked before about how role play sessions trigger activity. And so one of the guys who's with us in this video, his name is Steven. We met him at Hell's Bar Dam.
Right.
We had invited him to come along with us on this investigation.
Mhm.
And he is actually a certified EMT. Was that right?
Right. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so he knows a lot of the medical stuff, and so during this role play session, he was able to kind of use a lot of the medical like terminology and stuff. And so anyway, we started to experience stuff, and we had the SLS going. Now, there's parts of the video where it shows the SLS, parts of it that doesn't,
Right.
but you were managing the SLS.
Mhm.
Heather also witnessed what all it was showing, and so it was a really cool experience.
Yeah. All right. So let's take a look.
Sit. All right. Prepare for shock.
Back up.
Wait, is there something for real sticking in my arm right here? Like
Clear.
something poking me?
No.
I feel something poking into my arm.
Clear.
That was
Resume
awesome.
compressions.
That was awesome.
All right. Checking rhythm. Continue ventilations. All right. Clear.
We need help.
Call for the cardiac nurses from OR.
We need a cardiac nurse in emergency. Cardiac nurse in emergency. Stat.
Oh,
Here,
Step.
put this
Okay. Oh
on.
yeah. That will help.
Yeah.
I've lost both of you.
Be careful. You can actually ventilate her with that.
Okay. Squeeze. Squeeze.
Okay.
Okay, she's coded.
All right. All right.
Dead?
One more
Time of death.
All right. She
No.
has passed away.
I want
that
y'all.
time? What's that time?
Shit.
The time is 12:42.
He's starting an IV. Does it feel like you're being poked?
He's working on.
It's a tingle.
Yeah,
He's
his
working
hands
on
are
it.
right
And
there.
like,
His hands are right on you.
Yeah.
If I take this
Oh yeah. He's
scalpel
on the
down
other
to
side.
the patient. Alright, so it's picking up someone right there.
Right.
But is it this mannequin?
No, it's not the mannequin. You can see it's
the
highlighting right there.
top of
not
my
the-
right
yeah.
hand and my finger hurts. Like the top of my right hand is burning.
You know what?
He just started an IV on you.
That might be on her.
No, it's
No, I mean like standing, like.
Yeah, he's doing something with her arm. He's starting an IV on her.
Like the top of my hand is like burning.
Yeah, he's starting an IV. That's what it looks
and
like
my
he's doing.
Finger hurts.
Look at him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's. It looks like he's really.
Concentrating.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, now I feel something burning right here.
Okay, he's starting an IV.
Mhm.
That spot that you just pointed at is actually the AV. That's the best spot to place to start a large port IV for CPR.
That's so weird.
The butterfly
Yeah,
for a
uh-huh.
blood draw just
Yeah.
into the labs.
Yeah.
So now he's starting an IV on you.
What do he need you to do?
Alright, what do you need me to do? You just tell me and I'll do it. Does it have to do with this?
He's gesturing to you,
What kind of gesture?
like talking to you.
His hands up in the air, and then it goes.
Like doing this?
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's saying no to the scalpel.
Oh, okay.
That is an intelligent response. That is.
Touch my shirt or something.
Okay, that's him.
All right. So I have a swab right here. Do you need
It's
me
trying
to?
to map her.
Do you need me to swab her mouth, send it to the lab?
But it can't tell because of the angle.
No, it doesn't record people laying flat
Right.
down.
Right. Okay, so he's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone.
All right, we can close out on this
Yeah.
session then.
That was really cool. Now, one thing that I want to note is that when you see, especially at the beginning, the SLS camera is actually reversed. So you see Steven on one side and Heather on the other, but in the SLS camera, it's reversed. So you've got Steven over here and Heather over here.
Yeah.
But we still don't know what the other figure was. It looked like it came out of the wall and was like working on the patient, which was you. So,
Yeah. It was weird because it was like at one point I remember, and I don't remember if it shows this in the clip because this was a long session and we
Yeah.
it was trimmed down.
right.
At one point I felt like, okay, so they were getting ready, kind of at the beginning of the role play session. I felt like something poked me like right here,
Yeah.
and I even went ow, and Steven was like, what? And I was like, did you just really poke me with like and he was like, no. I was like, I felt like I just got poked with a needle. And so and then shortly after that is when a figure started like showing up, like
Right.
looking like it was working on the patient. And but yeah, I remember feeling like a burning in a couple of different spots, and Stephen was saying that that's where they do like IVs and stuff, or blood draws or whatever. And so and around that time that I was feeling things, you and Heather were seeing things on the SLS.
Mhm.
And I remember y'all made sure it was not the
Right.
mannequin.
Because there was a mannequin there, and
Yeah.
we absolutely
Yeah.
made sure that it wasn't that.
Yeah. And so it was really cool. And that, I believe because we weren't having a whole lot of activity before that, but it's
Right.
that role play session, I believe, that kind of like triggered that activity to happen.
And really, we've talked about the fact that every time we go to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, we have evidence. We have something happens. And that was the weirdest weekend because the night before we were at Hell's Bar Dam all night.
Mhm.
And then we went there and nothing happened until the role play session. Like we got nothing for the rest of the evening, like absolutely nothing for the rest of the night that I can remember. I think we had a few knocks, a few little things, but nothing that we could record or anything that we could
Yeah.
definitively say, hey, that could possibly be paranormal. But this was a really cool, that sort of made the night, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That just made the investigation because it was a cool capture, and it definitely made me a fan of the SLS.
Yeah.
So I love that.
And one day, I know I've got some footage from Hell's Bar Down, that investigation. So one day,
Yeah.
hopefully, I can like pull from the vault of
Yeah,
that.
we definitely want to go back through some stuff and do some more vault.
Do you remember? Okay, so when we first got there, and I do not remember if I had anything recording at this time. So I don't know if I have this, but we were doing the tour at the beginning, and it was dark already.
Yeah.
We were on the outside. You have to be really careful because there's big holes in the ground.
Right.
You have to walk a certain way, or you're going to fall down one of those little bottomless pits.
Right, exactly.
And so Stephen was leading, like David and everybody, and then it was me, you, and Heather. We heard a child.
Oh, I
giggling
remember that.
behind
Yes, I
and
remember that.
we were all like, and then we mentioned it, and Stephen's like, yeah, people hear a little girl here. Hey, Jeremy has a question.
Okay.
Okay, Jeremy, if you can, let's see, put it in the chat, and we will, let's see. Okay, I'll keep an eye out for it when he puts his question in the chat. I'll let you know.
All right.
But that was a cool. I'm hoping we had at least a handy cam or something going at that time.
Right.
Because that was really cool.
Oh, it was fun. I want to go back. we were able to sort of like go revisit last time we were at Old South Pittsburgh, but
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that was in the episode too where we just sort of did a
Yeah.
little day trip. But I would love to go back. So Stephen, if you're watching, we're coming.
Yeah.
I would love to go back. Now
Okay, here is
okay,
Jeremy's question.
all right.
Okay. Let me pull it over here so I can see it a little bit better. Okay, when you research a building or location, do you dig up old original blueprints for like original barriers, refurnished doors or walls? So sorry, I was looking. Okay. Yes, we've actually we did that at this last time we went to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital.
Right.
Yeah, David, he actually printed like a big map.
Like
I
two
don't
of
know
them, like each floor. He had a big map of each floor.
Yeah, and so that was really cool. I don't know if it was like original blueprints,
Right.
but it was he did a lot of research on each area of the hospital and on the map. I can't remember if I got a picture of it or not. But on the map, he had little notes written of, you know, even claims of who haunts this area and everything. And then he put like little tidbits of like history on different floors, and that was really cool. But we especially do that when we have like a client. We do like
Oh yeah.
a private investigation. We try to look up, you know, the records of the property. You know, when we go on a lot of these other locations that we do for fun, we try to do, we try to at least research the history always.
Exactly.
But one thing I think, just going with what Jeremy's asking, and Hillsbar Dam, so I remember watching something about Hillsbar Dam on TV, and the original like inside of the building. Okay, so you know when you go inside there, and there's like that catwalk.
Yeah.
There's like that has a catwalk and everything.
Right.
So back in but it didn't look like it does now. There was like other rafters and floors and everything. There is one area where people see apparitions kind of walking back and forth, but it's like in the air. So there's no floor there.
Yeah.
But if you look at the original blueprints, that used to be a floor.
Wow, that is really cool.
Like residual energy of like these spirits, like where they would have walked before, where there would have been a floor, and people see them there, and you know, without knowing those original blueprints of what the building used to look like, you would just be like, you know, oh, I just saw like a floating apparition, but really, it's like to them, like they're
walking across the catwalk.
Yeah. So that's really cool. You know, things like that.
And that is something that we can put more of an effort into doing. So that not only is it a good question, it's a great idea for investigations anyway. So yeah, absolutely. Good question. Thank you, Jeremy.
That was a great question.
Absolutely. Our next location is another one of our favorite places, and that is the Drish House, which Ashley is a very much familiar with the Drish House because she's been more than I think any of us.
Not more than Heather and
true.
Laura, but
right.
But yeah, and honestly, this kind of goes along too with what Jeremy was asking. What the layout of the inside now is completely different than it was back then.
Right.
And so that's another interesting thing to keep in mind when you investigate there.
Right, because it's been remodeled so many times.
Yeah. And so but you know, Drish, that again, like that's one of our favorite places too, and that it always gives us activity and evidence. And but there was one time, I think it was your first time going.
Yeah.
And this is not the time that we filmed for an episode. This was you know, prior to our YouTube. So we still filmed and stuff, like, you know, just for evidence sake. And so I do have a clip of my handy cam footage, night vision footage, and this was actually a slow night there. Slow for Drish,
Right.
because Drish is usually just like constant activity, but it was slow for Drish. But we had another pretty big scare.
Yeah.
This was probably my second biggest scare. Also my third biggest scare at a location.
So let's take a look.
Like coming from over there. Almost like, little clicking sounds, but I don't know if it could be like the AC or. Matter of fact, I just saw a shadow go over there. I wonder if there's anything flying around. It was like a shadow just, oh, there it went again. Oh, there is a bat in here. Yes, there's a bat in here.
Where?
It just flew up right over, look, there is a bat in here.
Oh, I saw the shadow.
Uh-huh.
Oh. It's right there.
Yep.
Oh, right, it's over there.
Oh.
It's fast.
Yes.
It is fast.
Y'all, I
I
don't
want
want
to smack you in the face.
I don't want to get bit.
Oh, it is right there. Did it just fly over you?
Yes, it went right there. Oh,
There he is.
Craig, he almost hit your hand.
Oh, wow.
How about the army crawl?
Somebody turned the light
Yeah,
on.
I really like that.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's gonna hit a ceiling fan.
I know, that's one, well, it's not.
Oh, it's right there.
Oh!
It's flying in circles.
You hear that?
Oh, shit. It's swooped down.
Wow, he is fast too.
Oh my god, hold on. Hold on there.
We learned that night not to scream around bats because bats are attracted to screams. So
They are, and we should have had that omen when we first walked in, and there was a bat tangled up in some of the draperies. So someone saved the bat.
Mhm.
So they called me
Mr. Batman.
Batman all night.
Craig is
Exactly.
known as Batman, the Batman
Exactly.
of Bunnings, because he
So I have
rescued
no
the bat.
fear.
So we were like, we did a good deed, save the bat. And then we go upstairs, and then there's like a ton of them, and
But they're so quiet. We had no idea they were there. Well, we knew they were downstairs, but we didn't know they were upstairs, and it was hilarious.
and what they said that there's never really been bats in there before, so
Right.
that was just like that night they got in, and
Well,
so
it was pretty
let's
cold.
see, we got somebody else. Hello, Scott. And but yeah, that that was a fun night. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, that bat that got me too. That
that was a fun night. One of my dogs just heard someone outside, so a
yeah.
little barkies. But yeah, so that was our first trip to the vault, and I think that was fun. That was good reliving some of those memories.
hmm
So this won't be our last one.
Yeah, I'm sure we've got more funny, more embarrassing videos as well. I'll try to dig up. Let's see. Hold on, we've got a comment.
Okay.
Let's see. Scott says, "I live 4 minutes away from Waverly Hospital in
Oh,
Louisville,
cool.
Kentucky."
Very
That's
cool.
really cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we do want to go back to Waverly very soon. I've been about 4 times, I believe 4 times. And my cousin is a Louisville police officer. So we can always, get him out if we need, like security service, which
Mhm.
we've never had any issues there. It is a fantastic place. I absolutely love it there.
I was
And Louisville
actually
is really cool. I really enjoy it every time we go to Louisville.
so I have never been.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm excited to go. I was actually hoping in the next, maybe year, be able to
Yeah.
plan us a trip there. So
Yeah,
I was
it's
actually going to
time.
start
Yeah.
working on that. And yeah, because that's on my bucket list. I've always wanted to go, and I've just never gotten to.
Well,
So I'm jealous you've been there like 4 times.
right. Well, the next time we do the vault, I'm going to find the weird thing that happened to us to me and my friends Les and Abby in the vault, in the tunnel. I keep saying vault, in the tunnel. So that will be for the next vault series. So that sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
All right. As before, thank you for joining us. We've had a wonderful time. And if you have any ideas for investigations, if you have any evidence that we want to do an episode where you submit some evidence and we talk about that evidence. So if you have something that you would like to submit, you can write us at crashmediaparanormal@gmail.com. Submit your evidences. Also, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're pretty much everywhere. And tell them about the Facebook group, Ashley.
Okay, so we have a Facebook group. It's a private group, so you have to like request access, but it's Crash Media Paranormal. We have a page on Facebook too, but we have a group on there. And if you're on Facebook, join that group because it allows, groups like that, it allows everybody to kind of like connect on a, and share things and connect a little more on a personable level. So, join there, submit stuff. If you want us to, we'll feature it here on the episode. And we've got some really cool stuff planned in October also.
Right. Some fun stuff. And also, if you are in a group and your group is going someplace that you would like us to feature on an episode, we would be happy to join you and feature your group on the episode. So that's one of the things we want to do to sort of get the community together is investigate with other groups. So we would definitely enjoy that. So anything, reach out, crashmediaparanormal@gmail.com, and we would be happy to speak with you.
Yep. And I want to say, Scott, since you're just tuning in, after this video, after we're done with the live and it posts, go back and watch, because we've shared several video clips from different investigations. So be sure to go back and watch. We got some funny ones and some pretty interesting evidence that we have captured that we have not shown before in episodes. So be sure to go back and watch that.
Yeah, and we'd love to have you again on our next live. All right, so everyone have a wonderful start to the spooky season and enjoy your week, and we will see you in another week. Ashley, hope you have a wonderful evening.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more videos or want to be a part of our live investigations, hit the subscribe button. Also, if you have any ideas for future investigations or want to share your own paranormal encounters, please feel free to leave a comment or send an email to crashmediaparanormal@gmail.com.